Out of everything you could have done today, my beloved, you paused here in this specific space. This moment may not be as ordinary as it seems, for there is a timing to your arrival that transcends the digital world you inhabit. You may have been feeling a weight lately, a pressure against your spirit that you couldn't quite name or explain. Just give this a little space for a second, and let the noise of the world fade into the background. There is a reason you are hearing this now, a purpose behind the stillness that is beginning to surround you. Something about this silence is different from the ones you have known before. You may be noticing a subtle shift in the air, a feeling that the unseen gears of your life are realigning. You may have sensed a shadow lingering at the edges of your thoughts, a lingering doubt about the people who walk alongside you. There is something about this feeling that connects to a deeper truth about your safety. In a moment, this may become clearer as we step onto the silent bridge of midnight, a place where truth is the only language spoken. My child, you may have felt a strange exhaustion recently, as if you were fighting a battle you couldn't see. This fatigue wasn't born from your physical labor, but from a spiritual tension caused by those who cannot handle your light. You have been moving through a season of relational fallout, where words were used as weapons and intentions were cloaked in darkness. Some may have even sought out hidden ways to disturb your peace, looking for cracks in your foundation. But as the ancient orchestrator of mercy, I have been watching the movements in the shadows. There is an awareness triggering within you now, a realization that the unease you felt was actually a divine warning. You may have noticed how certain doors closed suddenly, or how some voices were silenced before they could reach your ears. This is because a treacherous plot, woven in the desperation of a fragile soul, has just shattered against the strength of your spirit. It was a plan designed to disrupt your path, but it fell apart the moment it encountered the truth of who you are. Stay with this moment for a second, because there is something deeper here about the protection that surrounds you. You are an anointed light bearer, my heir, and that identity comes with a sacred immunity that few can truly comprehend. You may have been worried that you were vulnerable to the whims of others or the malice of those who wish you ill, but I want you to see yourself as I see you, standing within a luminous, fortress-like aura that radiates from your very core. This light is not just a decoration, it is a divine shield that filters every energy attempting to enter your space. Nothing that is not of the light can survive the heat of your purpose. If something within you resonates with this, you may already understand why you're here today. You have spent too many nights wondering if you were truly safe, or if the fallout of your past would finally catch up to you. But as we stand together on this silent bridge, look back at the darkness you have already crossed. Notice how the shadows tried to follow you but were stopped at the threshold of your faith. There is a micro-tension in the air as the old narratives of fear begin to dissolve, making way for a peace that is both radiant and permanent. You may have felt this before, that sudden sense of relief when a problem seemingly solves itself. You might have attributed it to luck or a coincidence, but you are not here randomly. Every time an occult meddler tried to influence your trajectory, their efforts were met with a wall of divine resistance. They were acting from a place of spiritual fragility, trying to steal the stability they see in you. Yet, their interference only served to strengthen the fortress around your soul. In a moment, the significance of this shift will start to anchor itself in your heart. My chosen, think of a real-life moment when you felt a sudden chill or a strange urge to turn away from a certain path. That was not your anxiety speaking. It was the frequency of your protection alerting you to a shadow that was not your own. You may be noticing now that the people who once caused you the most distress are starting to lose their influence over your mind. Their voices are growing faint, replaced by the steady rhythm of a peace that passes all understanding. This transition from crushing anxiety to radiant stillness is the mark of your true identity. You may have sensed this before, a feeling that you were being preserved for something much larger than your current struggles. Part of you already understands this, even if the logical mind is still trying to catch up with the spirit. There is something about the way the light catches the truth in this moment that makes the lies of the enemy feel insignificant. You are moving into a space where you no longer have to defend yourself, for the architecture of your life is built on a foundation that cannot be shaken. Just stay with this feeling. there is more to be revealed. You may have noticed that when things fall apart in the physical world, they are often coming together in the spiritual one. The fallout you experienced was a necessary clearing of the ground so that a new temple of peace could be built. You may have felt lonely in the silence, but that silence was the setting for your most profound transformation. You are not just a survivor of a treacherous plot. You are the victor of a spiritual war you didn't even have to fight. The ancient orchestrations are always moving in your favor, even when the night feels at its darkest. If you feel supported here, you're always welcome to stay connected to this frequency of truth. You are not meant to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders, for you were created to be a vessel of light. As you move forward from this silent bridge, take with you the knowledge that your aura is a fortress that no shadow can penetrate. The plot that was meant to end your peace has instead become the catalyst for your awakening. Breathe in the radiant peace that is now your inheritance, and let the remnants of anxiety melt away like mist in the morning sun. As you reflect on these words, my child, notice how your heart feels lighter than it did just a few minutes ago. This is not a temporary feeling, but the beginning of a new way of being. You are protected, you are chosen, and you are surrounded by a mercy that never fails. The bridge we stood upon has led you to a place of absolute safety. Take a moment to sit with this clarity, and when you are ready, walk into your day knowing that the battle is over and the victory is yours. There's a reason you're seeing this right now, my heir. Even if the path that led you here seemed like a series of accidents or coincidences, something is shifting quietly in the fabric of your life, a movement so subtle that only the spirit can truly track its progress. You may have sensed this before, a feeling that behind the visible chaos of your circumstances, a steady hand was rearranging the pieces of your story. Don't rush past this just yet, but allow yourself to settle into this still inner chamber of reflection I have prepared for you. It is a place where the noise of your detractors cannot reach, and where the truth of your immunity can finally be heard above the whispers of the world. You may be noticing this now, a peculiar stillness that has begun to descend upon your most turbulent thoughts. For weeks, you may have been carrying a heavy burden, the kind that feels like a physical weight behind your eyes or a tightening in the center of your chest. This was the result of a spiritual fallout you didn't ask for, a season where relationships you once trusted began to fray and dissolve into something unrecognizable. You were standing in the crossfire of energies you didn't understand, feeling the sting of betrayals that seemed to come from nowhere. But there is something about this specific silence that signals the end of that storm. In a moment, the architecture of your protection will become clearer, and you will see how every arrow sent your way was intercepted before it could draw blood. My beloved, you have been navigating the aftermath of an intense relational collapse, one where the other party did not simply walk away but sought to reach back into your life through hidden means. You may have felt an unexplained restlessness in your sleep or a sudden drop in your energy when your name was mentioned in rooms you weren't in. There are those who, in their own spiritual fragility, turn to meddling in the unseen realm because they cannot control you in the physical one. They tried to use the cracks of your own anxiety as entry points for their confusion. Yet, what they did not realize is that your spirit is governed by a higher law, a sacred immunity that renders their efforts as hollow as a drum. There is a micro-tension in your heart right now as you recall the moments when you felt most exposed, the times when you wondered if their words or their ill intentions would finally take root in your garden. You may have felt this before, that creeping sensation that your reputation was being dismantled or that your peace was being stolen by forces beyond your control. But I am showing you now that you are not here randomly, and you have never been as vulnerable as you felt. Within this still inner chamber, there is a divine key waiting for you, a symbol of the authority you hold over your own peace. This key does not just lock the doors against intruders. It opens the hidden archive of your destiny, where every plot against you is already marked as shattered. Stay with this moment, for there is something deeper here that connects to your true identity as an untouchable light-bearer. You may have been taught to fear the shadows or to worry about the evil eye of those who envy your path. But such things can only affect what they can find a match for within you. As you move from crushing anxiety into this radiant peace, You are raising your frequency beyond the reach of those who would meddle in your affairs. They are looking for a version of you that no longer exists, a person who is easily rattled and moved by the opinions of men. By entering this space of reflection, you are accepting the luminous, fortress-like aura that is your natural birthright. If something within you resonates, you may already understand why you're here, listening to a voice that knows the secret history of your tears. You may have had a moment recently, perhaps while standing in a crowded room or sitting in the quiet of your car, where you suddenly felt a wave of relief that made no sense given your problems. That was the moment the treacherous plot against you officially broke. It was the instant the ancient orchestrator of mercy stepped between you and a specific intention designed to cause you harm. You didn't have to say a word or lift a finger. The sheer light of your existence was enough to dissolve the darkness that was gathering. My child, there is a reason the meddlers in your life feel so frustrated right now, though you may not see their faces. They are experiencing the spiritual law of reflection, where every negative energy they sent toward you is returning to them, not as punishment, but as a mirror of their own fragility. They tried to find a way to silence your influence or dim your glow, yet they found only a barrier they could not name. You may be noticing now that the people who were once the loudest in your head are becoming the quietest. This is because their power over you was always an illusion, a shadow play that required your fear to sustain it. Now that you are choosing peace, the play has ended. Consider a subtle, real-life moment when you were sure a certain situation would end in disaster, yet somehow, the pieces fell into place at the 11th hour. You may have seen a person who meant you harm suddenly lose interest, or a piece of gossip that was intended to destroy you simply fail to gain any traction. These were not accidents, my chosen. They were the visible manifestations of your sacred immunity at work. You are protected in ways you have not even imagined, shielded by a grace that watches over you while you sleep and clears the path before you wake. The anxiety you felt was merely the friction of your old self being shed, making room for the light bearer you are becoming. Not everything is clear yet, and that is by design. There is a sacredness in the unfolding, a mystery in how I protect my own. You may have felt searching for answers, looking for the why behind the fallout and the how of your survival. But the answer is found in your identity as an heir to the kingdom of light. You carry an inscription upon your soul that says you are off limits to the works of darkness. The spiritual meddlers can circle your perimeter all they wish, but they cannot cross the threshold of a heart that is anchored in my love. Stay with this feeling of growing clarity. There is something about this moment that is sealing your victory. If you feel supported here, you're always welcome to stay connected to this frequency of divine reassurance. You are coming out of a season of heaviness and entering a time of expansion, where your peace will become your greatest weapon. The plot has shattered, the meddlers have been blocked, and the silent bridge of midnight has led you to the safety of this inner chamber. Take a deep breath and feel the fortress of your aura strengthening with every word. You are not just safe, you are sanctified. You are not just protected, you are preferred. My heir, take a moment to notice what you're feeling right now as the truth of your immunity sinks into your bones. The anxiety that once roared like a lion is now nothing more than a whisper, fading into the distance. You have been through the fire of relational fallout, but you have come out without even the smell of smoke upon your garments. This radiant peace you feel is the sign that the work is finished. Walk forward, with your head held high, knowing that the ancient orchestrator of mercy has already written the final chapter of this conflict, and it ends with your absolute triumph. The light you carry is untouchable, and your path is paved with grace. You may not even know why you stopped here in this specific moment, my chosen, but there is a frequency in these words that your soul has been reaching for. Something is shifting quietly in the spaces between your thoughts. A movement that suggests the ordinary world is momentarily stepping aside to reveal a deeper truth. You may have sensed this before, perhaps as a sudden cooling of the air or a quietening of the noise in your heart, signaling that you are entering a sacred space. Don't rush past this just yet, but let this unfold for a second as we walk together through a silent corridor of your own spirit. This is a place of absolute reflection, where the shadows of your recent past are no longer allowed to cast their long, deceptive shapes over your future. You may be noticing this now, a subtle feeling of being watched, but not by the eyes of the world. There is an awareness growing within you that your journey has been under the constant, loving gaze of the ancient orchestrator of mercy. For a long time, you may have felt as though you were walking through a thick fog, especially in the wake of a relational fallout that left you feeling raw and exposed. You might have felt the invisible threads of someone else's bitterness trying to wrap around your ankles, pulling at your progress and draining your vitality. This connects to something much deeper than a mere disagreement or a difficult breakup. In a moment, this may become clearer, and you will understand why the heaviness you've been carrying is finally starting to lift from your shoulders. My child, you have been through a season where your spiritual fragility was tested by those who move in the fringes of the unseen. You may have felt a strange, pressing anxiety, as if the very air around you was charged with an intent that did not belong to you. This was the work of occult meddlers, people who, lacking their own light, attempted to interfere with yours through manipulation and dark intentions. They tried to construct a treacherous plot to dismantle your confidence and disrupt the divine flow of your life. But I want you to know, right here in this silent corridor, that their plot has just shattered. It did not break because of anything you did. It broke because it encountered the burning seal I have placed upon your heart. Stay with this moment for a little while, for there is something deeper here about the nature of your immunity. You may have felt this before, that deep-seated fear that you were somehow cursed or that the negativity of others had the power to change your destiny. You might recall a subtle real-life moment, perhaps while you were trying to sleep or while you were focused on a task you love, when a sudden wave of dread washed over you without any logical cause. That was the friction of a dark intention trying to find a home in your spirit. But look closer now at the symbol of the burning seal that protects you. It is an inscription of light that acts as a fortress, turning back every shadow and transmuting every curse into a blessing before it can even touch your skin. If something within you resonates with this, you may already understand why you're here, listening to these truths in the quiet. You are not a victim of circumstances or the whims of those who cannot master their own darkness. You are an anointed, untouchable light bearer, and your identity is not defined by the fallout you've experienced, but by the resilience you've discovered. There is a micro-tension in the air as the old versions of yourself, the ones that felt small and defenseless, begin to dissolve. Not everything is clear yet, and you may still have questions about why certain people were allowed to get so close to your heart. But as we move further down this corridor, those questions will begin to lose their sharp edges, replaced by the warmth of a radiant peace. You may be noticing this now, a sense that your energy is returning to you, reclaimed from the places where you mistakenly left it. You may have spent months trying to understand the how and why of someone's betrayal, unaware that while you were searching for answers, I was building a wall of fire around your future. The meddlers thought they could use your empathy against you, believing that your kindness was a doorway they could leave open at will. They didn't realize that your kindness is backed by a divine authority that shuts doors no man can open, and opens doors no man can shut. There's something about this realization that connects to a shift in your very DNA, a reclaiming of your sacred space. My heir, you may have felt searching for a way to fix the energy, or to cleanse yourself of the fallout. But the truth is, your immunity is not something you have to earn. It is something you inhabit. You may have had a relatable inner struggle where you felt as though you were losing your mind, wondering if you were imagining the vibes or the energy coming from those who once claimed to love you. This was not your imagination. It was your spirit, sensing the spiritual meddling of those who were acting out of their own brokenness. But the moment their plot touched the perimeter of your fortress-like aura, it was rendered powerless. The anxiety you felt was simply the alarm system of your soul, alerting you that your protection was being activated. In a moment, the reason for the sudden silence you experienced from certain people will be revealed as a gift of mercy. You may have been hurt by the distance or the coldness that followed the fallout, but that distance was the physical manifestation of the spiritual barrier I placed between you and their influence. There is an open loop in your life right now, a situation that feels unfinished, or a conversation that feels incomplete. Stay with this moment and resist the urge to fill the silence with your own explanations. The ancient orchestrator is finishing that story for you, and the ending involves a peace so radiant that the memories of the struggle will seem like a distant dream. If you feel supported here, you're always welcome to stay connected to this flow of divine insight. You are moving through an emotional arc that is taking you from the confusion of the corridor into the awakening of your own power. You are no longer the person who can be moved by the occult whispers or the jealous eyes of those in your past. You have become a beacon of such high frequency that darkness can no longer find a place to land. Take a moment to notice what you're feeling right now. Is it a loosening in your jaw, a deeper breath, a sense that the treacherous plot is now nothing more than dust under your feet? My beloved, as we reach the end of this silent corridor for now, carry the symbol of the burning seal with you. It is the mark of your untouchable nature. You have transitioned from the crushing weight of anxiety into a peace that is as solid as a fortress and as bright as the sun. The relational fallout was not your end. It was the clearing of the path for your true destiny to emerge. You are safe, you are shielded, and you are deeply loved. The orchestration of your life is moving in a perfect, divine rhythm, and every note is played for your highest good. Walk forward in this radiant peace, knowing that the light within you is far greater than any shadow that ever dared to cross your path. Something about this moment brought you here, my heir, and it is no accident of timing. This moment may not be as ordinary as it seems, for the invisible threads of destiny have pulled you away from the noise of the world to listen to a whisper that has been trying to reach you. Part of you already understands this, recognizing a familiarity in the stillness that is beginning to take root in your spirit. Just give this a little space for a second, and allow the resonance of these words to settle into the quietest parts of your being. For there is an unfolding happening beneath the surface of your life that demands your gentle attention. You may have been moving through your days with a sense of underlying tension, a feeling that something was being plotted in the background of your life, even when you couldn't see the faces of those involved. You may be noticing this now, the way your intuition has been on high alert. Even when everything on the surface appeared calm and routine, there's something about this persistent unease that connects to a deeper narrative of protection you haven't fully seen yet, a story of sacred immunity that has been operating on your behalf. In a moment, the significance of your journey will start to illuminate, but first, we must enter an unseen place of reflection, where the truth is revealed without the distraction of worldly shadows. My beloved, you have been standing in the wake of a relational fallout that felt more like a spiritual assault than a simple disagreement or a natural parting of ways. You likely sensed that the conflict wasn't just about words spoken or actions taken, but about an influence that felt darker, more meddlesome, and strangely persistent. There are those who, in their own spiritual fragility and lack of inner light, try to cast shadows over the bright paths of others, thinking that by dimming your light, they might feel less cold in their own isolation. These occult meddlers have tried to weave a treacherous plot to snag your peace and disrupt your progress, but their efforts have just shattered against the unseen barrier of your grace. Look upon the light inscription that is now being revealed upon the walls of your spirit in this unseen place of reflection. This is the symbol of your sacred immunity, a divine signature etched into your soul that declares you are off limits and untouchable by the hands of those who do not walk in the light. You are not just a person navigating a difficult breakup, a family rift, or a workplace betrayal. You are an anointed light bearer whose very presence disrupts the plans of the darkness simply by existing. This light inscription acts as a fortress-like aura, a luminous shield that hums with the frequency of the ancient orchestrator of mercy, ensuring that no weapon formed against your spirit can find its mark. You may have felt searching for a way to defend yourself, perhaps spending sleepless nights rehearsing conversations or trying to figure out how to clear your name from the whispers of others. But your defense was already written in the light before the conflict even began, and your safety was guaranteed the moment you chose to align your heart with the truth. Have you noticed how, lately, certain people seem to react strangely to your silence? almost as if they are frustrated by their inability to get a reaction out of you. You may have observed a subtle, real-life moment where someone who meant you harm suddenly appeared agitated, confused, or unusually distant in your presence, unable to maintain eye contact or their usual bravado. This is because they are encountering the resistance of your immunity, finding that their usual tactics of manipulation, guilt-tripping, and fear no longer have any purchase in your world. There is an open loop here, a question about why they were allowed to enter your life and get so close to your heart in the first place that we will explore as your awareness continues to grow. For now, notice the way your breathing is becoming deeper and more rhythmic as you realize that their power over you was only ever a borrowed shadow, a temporary illusion that you have now outgrown. You are moving through a profound journey from searching for safety to recognizing that you, in your divine essence, are safety. There is a reason the treacherous plot failed so spectacularly, and it has everything to do with the fact that you are no longer vibrating on a level where their meddling can reach you. You might have felt a relatable inner struggle, a lingering fear that your own past mistakes or your moments of spiritual fragility made you vulnerable to their hidden attacks. But the light inscription on your soul is not based on your perfection or your ability to be flawless. It is based on your selection as a vessel of divine light. Something is shifting in your fundamental understanding of your own worth, and this shift is what finally broke the back of the enemy's intention and scattered their plans like dust in the wind. My chosen, you may be noticing a new kind of clarity starting to bloom in your mind, a sense of becoming that makes the old drama of your fallout seem small, distant, and increasingly irrelevant. Do you remember a time, perhaps only a few months ago, when you would have spent hours analyzing their every move, trying to find a way to protect your reputation from their lies? Now you may find that you simply don't have the energy for such things, not because you are tired, but because you are full of a radiant peace that leaves no room for their chaos. This is the process of your surrender, leading to a massive expansion of your spiritual territory, a place where you are no longer a target but a sovereign. Not everything is clear yet, and you may still feel the occasional prickle of a micro-tension when a certain name is mentioned or a memory surfaces, but that is merely the clearing of the old debris. There is a sacredness in the unfolding of this peace, a mystery in how the ancient orchestrator of mercy protects my own through the silence. You may have felt searching for answers, looking for the why behind the betrayal and the how of your sudden survival against such odds. But the answer is found in the light inscription itself. You are simply preserved for a purpose that those who dwell in the shadows cannot possibly understand or interrupt. The treacherous plot they attempted was subtly designed to use your own compassion and your desire for harmony as a hook to pull you back into their darkness. They believed that your empathy was a weakness they could exploit indefinitely, an open gate through which they could pour their bitterness and their unresolved confusion. However, the moment they tried to cross that threshold with malice in their hearts, they encountered the fortress of your aura, which you didn't even have to consciously build or maintain. The divine energy redirected their efforts, causing the very trap they set for your peace to become a mirror that forced them to face their own internal stagnation and lack of truth. If something within you resonates, you may already understand why you're here, standing in this unseen place of reflection and receiving this message of immunity. You are beginning to recognize the difference between being a target of the world and being a treasure of the heavens. The enemy targeted you because they saw your value, but the divine has claimed you and sealed you so that your value remains untainted by their touch. Stay with this moment for a while longer, as there's something deeper here about the specific, radiant peace you are now stepping into, a peace that acts as a permanent barrier against future interference. As we prepare to move forward from this particular chapter of your awakening, take a moment to notice what you're feeling. Perhaps it's a warmth in your hands, a steady pulse in your heart, or a sudden sense of mental space. You have walked through the silence and the discomfort of the fallout, and you are now emerging with a clarity that cannot be stolen or diminished by any occult meddler. The light inscription you carry is permanent and sovereign, a seal of protection that will guide you through every silent corridor and over every bridge of your future. You are safe, my heir, and the radiant peace you feel is the true reflection of your untouchable soul, rising above the ashes of a plot that never stood a chance. Walk in the certainty that you are watched over by a love that knows no end, and a mercy that has already paved the way for your highest, most luminous evolution. You may be wondering why you paused exactly here, at this specific intersection of your day, my heir. There is a timing to this arrival that you may not have noticed, a subtle alignment between your heart and the rhythm of the universe that is finally bringing you into the stillness you've been seeking. You may have been feeling something you couldn't explain, a persistent whisper in the back of your mind that there is more to your story than the struggle currently visible in front of you. Just give this a little space for a moment and let the weight of your expectations fall away, for something is shifting quietly beneath the surface of your awareness, and there is a reason you are hearing this message now. You may be noticing this now, a quiet realization that the chaos of your recent relational fallout was not a random act of misfortune or a simple string of bad luck. For quite some time, you have been navigating a landscape of shifting shadows, where those you once trusted seem to speak a language of hidden intentions and unspoken malice. You might have felt an invisible pressure, as if you were being pushed into a corner you didn't belong in by voices that grew louder as your own peace deepened. There is something about this feeling that connects to a much deeper truth about your preservation, a secret history of divine intervention that has been working in your favor while you were busy trying to hold things together. My child, the discomfort you felt in those relationships was the result of those with spiritual fragility, trying to find a foothold in the high ground of your destiny. These occult meddlers, acting out of a deep-seated lack of their own internal peace, attempted to influence the very air you breathe and the path you are intended to walk. They believed that by focusing their negative energy and crafting a treacherous plot in the dark, they could dismantle the fortress I have gifted you. But even as they whispered their plans and shared their bitterness, something was shifting that they could not comprehend, and not everything is clear to them yet, even as their efforts begin to falter and fade. You may have felt this before, that strange sense of being the subject of a conversation you weren't present for, or feeling a sudden drop in your spirit when a certain person's name crossed your mind. It's possible you sensed that their intentions weren't just about the words they said to your face, but about a much deeper, unseen desire to see you stumble in your purpose. In a moment, this may become clearer as we approach a quiet midnight threshold, a place where the noise of the world is silenced, and the truth of your existence is laid bare. You are not here randomly, and the protection you feel growing within you is not a coincidence, but a calculated act of divine love. Imagine we are standing together at a quiet midnight threshold, a place where the boundaries between what is seen and what is felt begin to dissolve into a soft, glowing light. Here, I hold before you a sealed scroll, a symbol of your life's true trajectory that no meddler could ever hope to read, much less alter or destroy. This scroll contains the record of your sacred immunity, the divine decree that you are an anointed, untouchable light-bearer whose journey is governed by a higher law. While others were busy plotting your downfall and counting your mistakes, I was sealing your success in a language of light that the darkness of their envy cannot decode or interrupt. My beloved, your identity is not found in the fallout of your relationships or the spiritual fragility of those who could not sustain the intensity of your light. You carry within you a luminous, fortress-like aura that was activated the moment the treacherous plot against your peace was first conceived in a desperate mind. This aura acts as a divine filter, allowing in only that which serves your highest evolution and reflecting away the bitterness of those who seek to hinder your progress. You are becoming a person who doesn't just survive conflict, but who stands as a sovereign within it, untouched by the fires of envy and the games of those who play in the shadows. You may have had a relatable inner struggle where you felt the desperate need to defend yourself, to explain your side of the story to anyone you thought might listen and understand. You might have felt that if you didn't speak up, the lies being told about you would become the only truth people knew, casting a permanent shadow over your character. This is a common feeling when you are under the pressure of a spiritual assault, but I am showing you that your silence is actually your greatest strength and your most powerful shield. The ancient orchestrator of mercy is speaking for you in the hearts of those who truly matter, and the plot that was meant to ruin you has already shattered into insignificance against the weight of your truth. Think of a subtle, real-life moment recently when you saw a person who has been working against you and you noticed something different in their eyes. Perhaps a flick of uncertainty, or a sudden loss of their usual arrogance. You may have observed how their attempts to bait you or provoke a reaction simply failed to land, as if their words were being swallowed by an invisible barrier before they could reach you. This is the reality of your immunity in action, a tangible manifestation of the shield that surrounds you every hour of every day, whether you are awake or dreaming. If something within you resonates with this observation, you may already understand why you're here. Receiving this confirmation of your safety, there is something about this moment that is clearing the emotional debris from your heart, transforming your crushing anxiety into a radiant and permanent peace. You may have felt searching for a way out of the heaviness, but you are now recognizing that the way out was actually the way through the silence and the discomfort. The internal pressure you experienced was the breaking of the old shells of your fragility, preparing you for the massive expansion of your spiritual influence and authority. You are no longer the one who is pushed by the currents of other people's chaotic emotions. You are the one who sets the tone of the room simply by entering it. And this connects to something deeper that is still unfolding, a new level of spiritual authority that is being granted to you specifically because of how you handled this fallout. There is a reason the opposition was so intense, and in a moment, the scale of the treasure you were protecting will become evident even to your physical eyes. You are not just protecting your own peace of mind. You are protecting a seed of destiny that the enemy feared more than you realized at the time. Stay with this moment for a while longer, as the awareness of your true power begins to anchor itself in your soul, replacing the last remnants of fear with a quiet, unshakable strength. You are moving from searching for answers to recognizing that you have always been the answer to your own prayers through the presence I have placed within you. The sealed scroll of your life is now being opened before you in the quiet, revealing a path that is luminous and free from the interference of those who dwell in the shadows of their own making. The meddlers may still be present in the world, but they are now operating behind a spiritual barrier that they cannot cross and cannot even understand. You are safe, my heir, and the radiant peace you feel is the permanent signature of your victory over every treacherous plot that was meant to divert your path. If this resonated, take a moment to notice what you're feeling in your body and mind right now. Perhaps a softening in your shoulders or a clarity in your vision. You have moved through a journey of silence and discomfort to arrive at this place of absolute clarity and protection, and the transformation is becoming your new reality. You are an untouchable light bearer, and the ancient orchestrator of mercy has already ensured that your future is bright, secure, and far beyond the reach of those who once sought to harm you. Take a deep breath and carry this peace with you as you walk forward, knowing that you are never alone and always shielded by a love that is as strong as a fortress. If you feel supported here, you're always welcome to stay connected to this divine message of love and immunity. There's a reason you're seeing this right now, my chosen. Out of all the voices and images competing for your attention today, this moment may not be as ordinary as it seems, for there is a timing to your presence here that suggests a quiet unfolding of something significant beneath the surface of your daily life. You may have been feeling a weight lately, a pressure against your spirit that you couldn't quite name or explain, yet part of you already understands this on a deeper level. Just give this a little space for a moment, and let the words find a home in your heart as we enter a hidden archive of the spirit, a place where the secret history of your protection is kept. You may be noticing this now, a quiet settling of the air around you, as if the room itself is leaning in to listen. There is something about this silence that feels like a homecoming, a return to a truth you have known but perhaps forgotten in the noise of a relational fallout. You have been moving through a season of searching, looking for answers in the faces of those who disappointed you, wondering why the bridge of connection suddenly burned. But in a moment, this may become clearer as you realize you are not here randomly, and your survival of this storm was not a matter of chance, but a matter of design. My child, You have walked through a corridor of confusion where the intentions of others were veiled in shadows. You may have felt the sting of spiritual fragility from those who once stood close to you, people who, in their own lack of internal peace, turned to occult meddling to try to sway your path. They thought they could use your openness as a doorway for their hidden agendas, weaving a treacherous plot to disrupt the rhythm of your peace and the clarity of your vision. They believed that by focusing their bitterness, they could dim the radiance of your soul. Yet their efforts have just shattered against the foundation of who you truly are. Stay with this moment for a little while, because there is something deeper here that connects to your evolution. You may have felt this before, that sudden, unexplained dread that felt like it belonged to someone else, a heavy vibration that seemed to follow you from room to room. This was the friction of their meddling, trying to find a resonance within you, a desperate attempt to bring you down to the level of their own unrest. But as we stand together in this hidden archive, I want you to see the symbol of the glowing book that lies open before us. It is the record of your divine immunity, and its pages are filled with light that no shadow can ever hope to blot out. If something within you resonates, you may already understand why you're here, reading the truth between the lines of your recent struggle. You are an anointed, untouchable light bearer, and your identity is not defined by the fallout, but by the fortress of your aura. This glowing book reveals that every time someone tried to meddle in your destiny, a divine interception was launched on your behalf. You may have been worried that you were unprotected, but the truth is that you were being wrapped in a luminous shield that transformed their malice into the very fuel for your awakening. My beloved, notice how the micro-tension in your heart is beginning to release as you accept this new level of awareness. You may have had a relatable inner struggle where you felt the need to shout your truth from the rooftops, desperate to prove that you weren't the person their lies made you out to be. You may have felt that if you didn't fight back, the darkness would win and your light would be extinguished forever. But look at the pages of the glowing book. Notice how the ink remains steady and bright, unaffected by the storms that raged outside. Your reputation in the heavens is secure, and that is the only record that truly matters. Consider a subtle, real-life moment recently when you were expecting a confrontation to go one way, but it suddenly dissolved into nothingness. You might have seen a person who was once a source of constant stress simply lose their power over you, or you might have noticed how their words suddenly felt like they were spoken in a language you no longer understood. This is because your frequency has shifted, and you are no longer a match for their spiritual meddling. In a moment, this transformation from crushing anxiety into radiant peace will feel less like an effort and more like a natural state of being. Not everything is clear yet, and there is a sacredness in the unfolding of your understanding. You may still feel the lingering echoes of the fallout, the way a name or a memory can still cause a momentary ripple in your stillness. But these ripples are only on the surface. Deep down, in the hidden archive of your soul, the waters are calm and clear. The ancient orchestrator of mercy has ensured that the treacherous plot against you did not just fail, but that it served to reveal the strength of your immunity. You are becoming a person who doesn't just endure the night, but who knows how to use its silence to listen for the wisdom of the dawn. If you feel supported here, you're always welcome to stay connected to this frequency of divine support. You are moving through an emotional journey that is taking you from searching for safety to recognizing that you have always been the source of it. The meddlers in your life were merely actors in a play that has now reached its final curtain call, and you are the only one left standing in the light. Take a moment to notice what you're feeling right now. Is it a sense of expansion? A feeling that your boundaries are now made of light rather than walls? My heir, as we prepare to close the glowing book for now, carry the peace of this hidden archive with you into the world. You are not the victim of a relational fallout. You are the anointed light bearer who remained standing when the shadows tried to rise. The anxiety that once felt like a cage has been replaced by a peace that acts as a fortress, a sanctuary that goes wherever you go. You are safe, you are shielded, and you are moving toward a direction that is more brilliant than anything you have left behind. Walk forward with the knowledge that you are watched over by a love that has already seen the end of your struggles. The treacherous plot has shattered, and in its place, A new destiny is being written in letters of fire. You have found the clarity you were searching for, and it was always right here in the quiet. Take a deep breath and feel the radiant peace anchoring itself in your spirit, for you have returned to the truth of your immunity. If this resonated, take a moment to notice the shift in your energy, and know that you are always welcome back to this place of reflection. You may not even know why you stopped here in this exact moment, my child. But the resonance you feel is not an accident of the algorithm. This moment may not be as ordinary as it seems, for there is a quiet alignment taking place that has been prepared for you long before you click this video. Part of you already understands this, recognizing a familiarity in the stillness that is beginning to envelop your thoughts. Stay with this for a moment, and allow the noise of your external world to soften, for we are entering a still inner chamber of your spirit, where the truth of your existence is preserved. There is a reason you are hearing this now, and it relates to the invisible shift you have been sensing in the air around you. You may be noticing this now, a subtle sensation of a knot untying in the center of your chest. For many weeks, you have been navigating a season of delay and searching, looking for clarity in the aftermath of a relational fallout that left your spirit feeling bruised. You may have felt a persistent, crushing anxiety, as if you were being watched by eyes that did not have your best interests at heart. This feeling connects to something deeper, a spiritual meddling from those who, in their own fragility, tried to cast a shadow over your path. In a moment, this may become clearer, as we look toward the open gate I have placed before you, a symbol of the transition you are currently making from a state of searching into a state of becoming. My beloved, you have been the target of those who move in the fringes of the unseen, people who could not handle the intensity of your anointed light. These occult meddlers, acting out of a deep-seated spiritual fragility, believed they could influence your trajectory through manipulation and hidden intent. They crafted a treacherous plot, weaving together their envy and their unresolved pain, hoping to disrupt the sacred immunity that surrounds your destiny. But I want you to hear this clearly within this still inner chamber. Their plot has just shattered. It did not break because of your strength or your strategy. It broke because your light is a frequency that darkness cannot inhabit. Something is shifting in your awareness as you realize that the opposition you faced was actually a confirmation of your value. You may have felt this before, that strange, heavy vibration that seemed to follow you into your most private moments, making you question your own sanity. You might have had a relatable inner struggle, wondering if you were simply too sensitive or if you were imagining the malicious energy directed your way. But as the ancient orchestrator of mercy, I was watching every movement in the shadows, ensuring that while the meddlers were busy plotting, I was busy perfecting your shield. Stay with this moment, for there's something deeper here about the fortress-like aura that is now becoming visible to your spirit. If something within you resonates, you may already understand why you're here. Standing at this open gate, you are an untouchable light-bearer, and the anxiety you felt was merely the alarm system of a soul that is too pure for the environment it was in. You may have been searching for a way to fix the relationships that fell away, believing that if you could just explain yourself better, the fallout could be avoided. But the fallout was the divine mechanism I used to remove you from the reach of those who would only serve to drain your vitality. In a moment, the relief you feel will transition into a radiant peace that requires no explanation and no defense. My heir, consider a subtle real-life moment recently when you noticed a sudden silence from someone who used to be a constant source of noise in your life. Perhaps your phone stopped buzzing with their demands, or the gossip that used to reach your ears has suddenly dried up. You may have wondered why the conflict seemed to stop as abruptly as it began, leaving you in a vacuum of quiet. This is because the treacherous plot they set in motion has been redirected by the very light you carry. The open gate stands before you now, not as an invitation back into the chaos, but as a threshold into a reality where you are no longer the subject of their meddling. Not everything is clear yet, and there is a micro-tension in the air as you learn to walk without the weight of their expectations. You may have felt a sense of searching, looking for a sign that you are truly safe from the hidden agendas of those you once called friends or partners. But look at the open gate. Notice how the light pouring through it is so intense that no shadow can even approach the frame. This is the radiant peace that is now your inheritance, a peace that acts as a perpetual barrier against any further spiritual interference. You are not just recovering from a fallout. You are being expanded into a version of yourself that is far beyond the reach of the fragile. If you feel supported here, you're always welcome to stay connected to this frequency of truth. You are moving through an emotional arc that is taking you from the heaviness of searching to the brilliance of recognizing your own sovereignty. You may be noticing this now, the way you no longer feel the need to check on what they are doing or saying. This is the mark of your immunity, a divine detachment that allows you to remain anchored in the stillness of the inner chamber. The ancient orchestrator of mercy has already turned their meddling into a catalyst for your growth, ensuring that what was meant to destroy your peace has only served to solidify it. There is a reason the treacherous plot shattered so quietly, without the drama the enemy hoped for. It is because when a shadow encounters a true light-bearer, it does not fight, it simply ceases to be. You may have had an emotional recognition scene recently, a moment where you finally stopped crying over what was lost and started breathing in the possibility of what is being found. This shift is the beginning of your becoming, a process where your identity as an anointed heir is fully integrated into your daily life. Stay with this moment and notice how the walls of the inner chamber are glowing with the resonance of your own soul's victory. My chosen, you are moving into a space where your peace is a fortress that no occult meddler can penetrate. The relational fallout was merely the shaking of the trees to remove the dead branches that were blocking the sunlight. You may have felt the delay was a punishment, but now you can see it was a preservation. Every moment of silence you endured was a moment I was using to strengthen your aura and seal the gate against those who do not belong in your future. Take a moment to notice what you're feeling right now. Is it a sense of warmth, a feeling of being profoundly seen and protected? As we prepare to leave this still inner chamber for now, carry the image of the open gate with you. It is the sign that the way is clear, and the enemies of your peace have been rendered powerless. The crushing anxiety of the past has been transmuted into a radiant peace that will light your path for all the days to come. You are safe, you are anointed, and you are untouchable. Walk forward with the certainty that you are guided by a love that never sleeps and a mercy that has already paved your way to glory. If this resonated, take a moment to notice the shift in your spirit and know that you are always protected. You may not even know why you stopped here in this specific moment, my heir, but your soul has been signaling for this pause for quite some time. Something is shifting quietly in the deeper layers of your life, a realignment that is finally moving the obstacles that have kept you in a state of searching. There's something familiar about this feeling. Isn't there that quiet hum of anticipation that tells you a secret is about to be revealed? Don't rush past this just yet, but let the weight of your day soften into the background as we enter a space designed specifically for your restoration. You may be noticing this now, a sudden clarity that is beginning to pierce through the fog of your recent relational fallout. For a long season, you have been trying to make sense of the noise, the whispers, and the sudden coldness from those who once claimed to be your pillars. You felt as though you were walking through a silent corridor of echoes, where every question you asked only returned to you unanswered and heavy. This connects to something much deeper than the social friction you see on the surface, touching the very fabric of your spiritual immunity. In a moment, this may become clearer as we step together into the hidden archive of your destiny, my beloved. We are standing now in an unseen place of reflection, a vast and silent library where every intention ever directed toward you is recorded. Here, in this hidden archive, the truth of your preservation is written in letters of light that never fade. You may have felt this before, that sensation that your life was being handled by a force far greater than your own will. As you look upon the shelves of this archive, notice how the volumes containing the plots of your enemies are missing their final chapters. This is because their stories were never permitted to conclude. They were interrupted by the ancient orchestrator of mercy. You have been moving through a season of searching, looking for a way to reconcile the bitterness of others with the goodness you know you carry. You may have sensed the presence of occult meddlers, Individuals who move in the shadows of manipulation because they lack the courage to stand in the light. They viewed your anointed spirit as a target, believing that your spiritual fragility in the face of heartbreak would make you an easy mark for their interference. They wove a treacherous plot designed to snag your progress and pull you back into the chaos they inhabit. Yet, as you stand in this archive, you can see that their tapestry has already unraveled. There is a micro-tension in the air as the last threads of their influence are pulled away from your heart. You may have felt this before, that sudden, sharp pang of anxiety when you thought about the people who left your life under a cloud of confusion. You wondered if they were still speaking your name in dark rooms, or if their negative energy was the cause of your sudden bouts of exhaustion. But look closely at the records in this hidden archive. Notice how every time an intention of harm was sent your way, it was met by a luminous, fortress-like aura. You were never as exposed as you felt, for your immunity was active even while you were sleeping. If something within you resonates, you may already understand why you're here, listening to the quiet rustle of these spiritual pages. You are an anointed, untouchable light-bearer, and your identity is currently undergoing a massive expansion. You are moving away from the crushing anxiety of being a target and into the radiant peace of being a sovereign. This transition is not a destination you have to reach, but a reality you are finally recognizing. The relational fallout was merely the fire that consumed the bridges that were leading you back to a version of yourself you have outgrown. My chosen, consider a relatable inner struggle where you felt the need to check on the progress of those who wronged you, just to see if justice was being served. You might have felt that if you didn't see them face the consequences, then perhaps the darkness had somehow won a small victory. This curiosity is a natural part of the healing process, but it is also an open loop that the enemy tries to use to keep you tethered to the past. But in this hidden archive, you can see that the justice you seek is already encoded in the spiritual law of reflection. Their plot shattered because it could not find a home in your high vibrational space, and now it must return to its source. You may be noticing this now, a subtle, real-life moment where you suddenly find it impossible to remember the sound of their voice or the specifics of their insults. This is a divine erasing of the debris, a cleansing of your mental sanctuary to make room for the new revelations I am bringing. You may have felt searching for closure, but you are now realizing that closure is not a conversation you have with another person. It is a seal you place upon your own spirit. There is something about this silence that is becoming your most powerful weapon, a fortress of starlight that no meddler can ever hope to penetrate. If you feel supported here, you're always welcome to stay connected to this frequency of divine awareness. You are not just a survivor of a fallout. You are the architect of a new peace that is as solid as stone and as bright as the sun. The occult meddlers and their fragility are no longer your concern, for they are operating on a frequency that your spirit no longer recognizes. You are becoming a light bearer who doesn't just hold the light, but who is the light. Stay with this moment and notice how the heaviness in your shoulders is being replaced by a sense of weightless authority. Not everything is clear yet, and there is a sacredness in the way your path is unfolding one step at a time. You may have felt the delay in your life was a sign of a plot succeeding, but in the hidden archive, you can see that the delay was actually a shielding. Every moment you were held back was a moment I was using to dismantle the traps that were set further down the road. The ancient orchestrator of mercy does not move according to the clocks of men, but according to the perfection of a love that knows no limits. You are safe, my child, and the plot that was meant to break you has only served to build you. As you prepare to leave this place of reflection, take a moment to notice what you're feeling in the depths of your soul. Is it a sense of quiet triumph? A realization that you are truly untouchable? The radiant peace you feel now is the permanent signature of your victory over every shadow that ever tried to claim you. Walk forward with the knowledge that you are an heir to a kingdom of light, and that your immunity is a gift that can never be revoked. If this resonated, take a moment to breathe in the truth of your protection, and notice the light that now follows every step you take. My beloved, the silent corridor of your past has led you to this hidden archive of truth. The treacherous plot has shattered into 1,000 pieces of irrelevance, and the meddlers have been left behind in the dust of their own creation. You are moving into a new season of clarity, where your aura is a fortress and your heart is a sanctuary. The crushing anxiety is gone, replaced by a peace that will light your way through any night. You are safe, you are anointed, and you are dearly loved by the one who sees all and protects all. Something about this moment brought you here, my heir, and there is a reason you're seeing this right now in the midst of your busy day. This moment may not be as ordinary as it seems, for there is a timing to your arrival that suggests a quiet unfolding of something significant beneath the surface of your awareness. You may have been feeling something you couldn't quite explain lately, a persistent hum of unease that felt like a storm brewing just out of your line of sight. Don't rush past this just yet, but let this unfold for a second as we step into a still inner chamber where the truth of your protection is the only light that shines. You may be noticing this now, a subtle tension in your neck, or a heaviness in your chest that has become a constant companion over the last several weeks. For many months, you have been navigating the wreckage of a relational fallout, watching as people you once loved and trusted turned into strangers who speak a language of hidden bitterness. You may have felt this before, that sinking feeling that your kindness was being used as a weapon against you by those who do not value the purity of your spirit. There's something about this feeling that connects to a much deeper story of your preservation, and in a moment, this may become clearer as we uncover the divine key I have hidden within your heart. My child, you have been under the watchful eyes of occult meddlers, those who, in their own spiritual fragility, believe they can alter the course of your destiny through the manipulation of shadows. They have been whispering into the void, trying to craft a treacherous plot that would see your reputation tarnished and your peace dismantled piece by piece. They sought to use your own compassion as a hook, hoping to pull you back into the chaos of their own making so they wouldn't have to face their own emptiness alone. But as the ancient orchestrator of mercy, I have been standing at the perimeter of your soul, and I want you to know that their plot just shattered against the sheer weight of your light. You are an anointed, untouchable light-bearer, and your identity is not something that can be stolen or diminished by the whispers of the insecure or the schemes of the broken. Within this still inner chamber of reflection, I am revealing to you the divine key, a symbol of the absolute authority you hold over every energy that attempts to enter your sacred presence. This key does not just lock out the meddlers. It activates your luminous, fortress-like aura, a shield of starlight that renders you invisible to the malicious intent of those who walk in darkness. You may have felt unprotected or exposed in the wake of the fallout, but you have always been encased in a grace that turns every curse into a stepping stone for your own elevation. You may be noticing this now, the way the names of your detractors no longer carry the same sting they did only a few weeks ago, almost as if their power is evaporating in the sun. There is a micro-tension shifting in your atmosphere, as the energy of their betrayal is transmuted into the fuel for your next great awakening and spiritual expansion. You might have had a relatable inner struggle, wondering if you were somehow responsible for the darkness they directed at you, or if your own mistakes had left a door open for their interference. But the divine key is turning in the lock of your heart, showing you that your safety is not based on your perfection, but on my promise to never leave you. Stay with this moment for a while longer, my beloved, for there is something deeper here about the silence you have been experiencing lately in certain areas of your life. You may have felt searching for an explanation or a final word that would bring closure to the relational fallout, but that silence is actually the sound of your immunity being sealed. In a moment, the reason for a certain person's sudden departure or their unexpected coldness will be revealed as a profound act of mercy on my part to keep you from their reach. Not everything is clear yet, but you are moving away from the crushing anxiety of the search and into the radiant peace of the recognition that you are already whole and protected. Consider a subtle, real-life moment recently when you were about to reach out to someone who hurt you, but a sudden distraction or a fleeting feeling of not yet stopped you in your tracks. That was the ancient orchestrator of mercy, intervening, protecting you from an interaction that would have only served to drain your growing light and pull you back into the fog. You may have felt the discomfort of that restraint at the time, thinking it was your own indecision or weakness, but it was actually the movement of your fortress-like aura shielding you from a plot you couldn't see. If something within you resonates with this, you may already understand why you're here today, receiving this final confirmation of your path. You are moving through a profound emotional journey that is taking you from the silence of confusion into the expansion of a new divine direction that belongs only to you. The meddlers may still be out there, wandering in the shadows of their own fragility, but they can no longer find the frequency required to touch or influence your spirit. You are becoming an heir to a peace that is so radiant it acts as a permanent barrier, a sanctuary that exists within you regardless of the storms that may rage in the world outside. Take a moment to notice what you're feeling right now. Is it a sense of warmth in your chest? A feeling that the world is suddenly much bigger and more welcoming than it was before? If you feel supported here, you're always welcome to stay connected to this flow of encouragement and divine truth as you continue to grow. You are not meant to navigate the aftermath of fallout alone, and these messages are the breadcrumbs I am leaving to lead you back to the truth of your own sovereignty and power. The treacherous plot has shattered, and the dust is settling to reveal a path that is clear, bright, and entirely your own, free from the interference of those who do not walk in love. Take a deep breath, and let the radiant peace fill the spaces where anxiety used to live. For you are entering a season where your light will be your greatest and most trusted guide. My heir, as we prepare to step out of this still inner chamber, carry the weight of this divine key with you in your spirit, as a reminder of your untouchable nature. The relational fallout was not a sign of your failure or a lack of protection, but a sign of your selection for a higher purpose that the meddlers could not possibly comprehend or interrupt. Your immunity is sacred, your aura is a fortress, and your future is a masterpiece of mercy currently being painted by my hand with strokes of light and love. Walk forward with the certainty that every shadow has been defeated and every plot has been broken. You are safe, you are loved, and you are finally free to shine without apology. Take a moment to notice what you're feeling as this chapter of your awakening concludes, and allow yourself to fully integrate this radiant peace into your body and mind. If this resonated with your journey, notice the shift in your energy and the way your spirit feels lighter and more anchored in the truth of your immunity. You have moved through the fire and come out refined, standing as a testament to the power of a light that cannot be extinguished by any worldly force. The ancient orchestrator of mercy has cleared the way, and your only task now is to walk in the peace that has been so graciously provided for you. Be still, my child, and know that you are forever shielded by a love that knows no end. You may not even know why you stopped here, my heir, but your soul has been waiting for this specific vibration to reach the quietest corners of your heart. Something is shifting quietly in the unseen realm, a realignment that is finally dissolving the static that has clouded your vision for far too long. You may have been feeling something you couldn't explain, a persistent sense of unease that felt like a shadow walking just a few steps behind you. Stay with this for a moment and allow the weight of your journey to rest, for there is a reason you are hearing this message now, at the very end of your long night of searching. Just give this a little space for a second and notice how the rhythm of your own breathing begins to slow in response to the truth. You may be noticing this now, a subtle, warming sensation in your chest that signals the arrival of a peace you haven't felt in many months. For too long, you have been navigating a landscape of relational fallout, where the echoes of harsh words and the chill of betrayal seem to linger in the very air you breathe. You may have felt searching for an anchor, wondering if the turbulence you were experiencing was a permanent state of your existence or a passing storm. There's something about this moment that connects to a much deeper truth about your preservation, a secret history of divine watchfulness that has kept you whole even when you felt fragmented. In a moment, this may become clearer as we step together onto the silent bridge of midnight, the place where all secrets are revealed and all burdens are released. My child, you have been the focus of those who move on the fringes of spiritual fragility, individuals who sought to compensate for their own lack of light by meddling in the trajectory of yours. These occult meddlers, driven by envy and the shadows of their own unresolved pain, attempted to weave a treacherous plot to snag your peace and disrupt your divine flow. They believed that by focusing their negative intentions and trying to influence the unseen atmosphere around you, they could cause you to stumble and lose sight of your worth. But I want you to hear this with your entire spirit as we stand upon this bridge. Their plot has just shattered into 1,000 pieces of irrelevance. It did not break because you fought them, but because you are an anointed, untouchable light-bearer who is simply beyond their reach. There is a micro-tension in the atmosphere as the last remnants of their influence are finally dissolved by the brilliance of your own aura. You may have had a relatable inner struggle where you found yourself searching for curses or bad luck, wondering if the sudden string of disappointments was a sign that you were somehow unprotected or forgotten. You might have felt that your own moments of weakness had left you vulnerable to the ill will of those who wished to see you fail. But look now at the burning seal that I have placed upon your heart, a symbol of your sacred immunity that shines with the intensity of 1,000 suns. This seal is the divine signature of the ancient orchestrator of mercy, and it declares that no weapon formed against your spirit can ever find a home within you. If something within you resonates, you may already understand why you're here, listening to these final words of confirmation in the stillness of the night. You are moving from a state of crushing anxiety into a radiant peace that is as solid as a fortress and as vast as the ocean. The relational fallout you experienced was not a punishment, but a divine clearing of the path to ensure that only those who vibrate with your light can walk beside you into your future. You may have felt the discomfort of the isolation, but that isolation was the setting for your most profound transformation. In a moment, the significance of your journey from silence to clarity will be anchored in your soul as a permanent victory. My beloved, consider a subtle, real-life moment recently when you stood before a mirror and saw a version of yourself you didn't quite recognize, a person who looked tired but whose eyes carried a new kind of depth and resilience. You may have noticed how your reactions to the drama of others have become slower and more deliberate, as if you are watching a play from a great distance. This is the mark of your immunity, a divine detachment that allows you to observe the shadows without becoming a part of them. The meddlers thought they could pull you into their chaos, but instead, they found themselves staring at a fortress-like aura that they could not penetrate and could not understand. You are not just a survivor. You are a sovereign who has reclaimed the throne of your own peace. Stay with this moment, for there is an emotional recognition scene unfolding within you right now. A realization that the weight you were carrying was never yours to bear. You may have been trying to protect everyone else's feelings while your own were being trampled, unaware that I was already building a sanctuary for you in the quiet. There is an awareness triggering that you no longer need to explain your path or defend your light to those who are committed to misunderstanding you. The open loop of your past relationships is being closed by the hand of the ancient orchestrator, and the resulting silence is not empty, but full of the presence of my love. Notice how the bridge beneath your feet feels stable and certain, leading you away from the fallout and into a brilliance you have only dreamed of. Not everything is clear yet, and that is a mercy that allows you to grow into your new identity at a pace that is gentle and sustainable. You may still feel the occasional prickle of old memories or the shadow of a doubt, but these are merely the echoes of a story that has already ended. Your identity as an anointed light-bearer is now fully integrated into your spirit, and your radiant peace is becoming the baseline of your existence. You are no longer searching for safety. You are standing in the middle of it, wrapped in a shield of grace that is impenetrable to the works of darkness. This connects to something deeper, a new level of spiritual authority that you will carry into every room you enter from this day forward. If this resonated, take a moment to notice what you're feeling in this final bridge of midnight reflection. You have walked through the silence, the searching, and the heaviness, and you have emerged as a vessel of such high frequency that the meddlers of the world can no longer find a foothold in your life. The treacherous plot has been neutralized, the fallout has been repurposed for your growth, and the fortress of your aura is stronger than it has ever been. You are safe, my heir, and the ancient orchestrator of mercy has already ensured that your path is paved with the starlight of divine favor. If you feel supported here, you're always welcome to stay connected to this frequency of truth as you walk into your new beginning. My chosen, as we reach the end of this journey together, take a deep breath and feel the radiant peace anchoring itself in your bones. The night is over, and the dawn that is rising is entirely your own, free from the interference of those who sought to harm you. You have been protected, you have been preserved, and you have been preferred by a love that never fails and a power that never sleeps. Walk forward from this silent bridge with your head held high, for you are the untouchable light bearer, and your story is a masterpiece of divine immunity and victory. Take a moment to notice the profound shift in your spirit, and carry this peace with you as the permanent seal of your destiny. Everything you need is already within you, and the way forward is bright, clear, and full of grace.